Hi, friends. So, my name's Cal. Well, my name's Callista, but my friends call me Cal. So, yeah, I'm a student at NAU, and I love CCOF. It's definitely become a home away from home, and I'm really excited to be a part of this, part of the Trinity sessions. So yeah. Right now I'm in Peoria, it's where I'm from. I was going to go to this super cute spot by the lake. There's a bunch of wildflowers growing now because it's springtime, but it's really windy outside and it's cloudy, and I was scared that it was gonna rain and that you couldn't hear me. So now I'm just sitting in my car. I hope that's okay for you. But yeah. Today we're gonna be talking about Psalm 23, but before we jump into that, let's all be real. Being home without being able to go out and do things has gotten to the point where I'm like, Mom, I love you, but like I just need to get out. So I've been going for drives a lot and listening to music a lot, and I've done lots of crafts. Like I did this hair wrap thing. I made like 50 bracelets, it feels like. I've painted and all that jazz, so I feel like a little kid again. I love that. But yeah, some background behind Psalm 23 is that it was written by King David. He was one of the kings of Israel, and during this time, shepherds and shepherding were very prevalent in their culture, and we'll notice this throughout the psalm, this imagery that he uses, and it's kind of to relate to the people during that time, and to understand God, and to understand God's relationship with us in a way that they could, because it was something that they were used to, which is pretty cool. We're gonna break it down, we're gonna understand it, and it's super rad. I love this psalm. So yeah, I'm working on memorizing it, but I have it right here too, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, feel free to read along with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Wow. If you're looking for something to read, something new to read, and you haven't read the Psalms, or you haven't read them in a while, go back and read them, because they're just so beautiful and they definitely bring some joy into your everyday life. So through this psalm, we are reminded of the Lord's grace and his goodness, and how he brings us peace and comfort. And I think that today's culture does a very good job of creating a long list of things for us to do that we may not necessarily need to do, and all of that stuff is cluttering our hearts and our minds, and it's weighing us down, and we're carrying all this weight that we don't need to carry. I mean, think about it. Before COVID-19, we were doing all these things that needed to get done, but now we have all this free time and we're still going on. Sure, there's a downside to all of this, a very serious downside, but there's also some pros that are arising in the midst of that. Our world and our culture, at least for people that I know, like, it has painted this picture of standards and expectations of how you need to look, how you need to act, things that you should be doing or things that you should own in order to be accepted by people, and so that people will like you. And being on a college campus, it's easy to watch people reach for things when they want to be comforted, reach for a glass, reach for a substance, reach for a body, and they are doing these things to cope with something going on, but in reality, in 99.9% of the time, they'll leave that situation feeling the same or feeling even worse than when they went in, because things of this world do not bring eternal happiness or joy. Only God can do that. And Psalm 23 verse 4 says, "Even though I walk through the darkest of valleys, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Even though I walk through the darkest of valleys, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. There are a ton of things going on in life right now. There are all the things before COVID-19 happened, and now all the new things that are coming up. And I found that when I look to God in every instance, He brings about peace, and you find comfort in Him. And like, when I think back on my life and all the things that I've struggled through, and those seasons where you feel the darkness around you, and it's overwhelming. And with that being said, I'm not saying that with Christ all of the darkness just goes away, because that's not true. There are still going to be struggles that you face and hurdles that you have to get over. But what I'm saying is that when you go to Him, you can find strength and comfort in that, and that will aid you and help you get through that situation and that season in your life. I know that without Him, I'd be a mess every single day, probably. And one of the hardest times in my life was when my mom was really sick, and I was very confused, and I didn't know what was happening, and it was really hard. But like, having that relationship with Him and knowing that He would never leave me, He would never forsake me, He is a good shepherd who looks after me, that just helps you get through. So for today, what I would love is for you to go back and read this chapter on your own, and go through it and recognize those moments in your own life. Recognize those green pastures and those quiet waters, and how He refreshes your soul. And think about those dark valleys that you have gone through. Think about how you've made it out. Now, because of those experiences, you're even stronger. If you're up for a challenge, try to memorize this verse. That's what I'm trying to do as well. And just remember that we have a big God with big plans, and He's one who brings peace and comfort, and His goodness and love will follow you all the days of your life. God makes the wave, you just have to ride it. I love you guys. But yeah, have a good day.